servant of Yahuwah, Soya, and I'd like to step back into this story, this event of the circle of the Yardan, which I like to call the circle of death, because as you have already discovered through previous episodes of this assembly, in the Yardan at that time, there was a lot of punishment that was faced by the people in the area because of transgressions which they committed against Yahuwah. So we're going to pick it up again today in chapter 19 with verse 27. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahuwah. And he looked toward Sidon and Amorah, and toward all the land of the circle of the Yardan, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. Thank you, Father, for these words, these scriptures, that we may learn from past mistakes, past transgressions, and that you may look upon us favorably for our efforts to try to appease, honor, and reverence you. In the name of your Son, we lift up this prayer in the name of Yahusha, my Mashiach. Thank you, Father. Now, Abraham did what many people today does. He went to the place where he last saw the one who means the most to him. He went to the last place where he saw Yahuwah. It was more than nostalgia. It was true and utter reverence. Perhaps even the hope that his being there would bring Yahuwah back. Reality set in, and he looked to where Yahuwah said he was going. Perhaps he was still hoping that by looking in that direction, he would see Yahuwah returning. Or perhaps he was just looking that way out of reverence because there is where his masters went. But it was a twofold curiosity, since there too was his nephew, his brother Lot. But what he saw was smoke. The smoke would have been great. A smoke that great would have been terrifying when considering the possible fate of Lot. He could only hope that Lot was okay. Again, another strange time to jump back to another person that was not involved in the rest of the chapter. While this bit with Abraham could conceivably have waited until the next chapter, it would seem that placing this here has strategic significance. It is significant because it helps to emphasize that Abraham was concerned about Lot. It is made even more concerning to Abraham as he not only looked toward Sidon, but at all the circle of the Yardan. It is as though he is looking to see if there is a safe place where Lot could possibly have escaped to. But his hopes are dimmed by the smoke that came up from all the land. This was tragic. This was a tragic event that Abraham has to reconcile and hope the best through, at least until he knows better. Verse 29. And it came to pass, when Elohim destroyed the cities of the circle of the Yardan, that Elohim remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. Here's another interestingly worded verse. Here it seems as though the writer is confirming that Elohim, under the command of the authority of Yahuwah, rained down the punishment on the cities. And they also acknowledge the value of honoring the living soul, Abraham, and therefore spared Lot out of reverence for Yahuwah. Or this could be saying that Yahuwah Elyon did the deed himself, as well as spared Lot for Abraham's sake. Whichever happened, the bottom line is it happened under the authority of Yahuwah. Therefore, the credit or blame goes to him by default. Now, I like when it says Elohim because Yahuwah is an El. And as an El, he is one of many Elohim. It seems that, to me, mostly that there were other Elohim who carried out his commands and rained down the fire and brimstone on the circle. All right? It don't seem like he did it all himself. As a leader, as a authority, as the authority, it was most likely that other Elohim did this, carrying out his command. That's just how I feel about it. Verse 30. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him. For he feared to dwell into Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. Lot probably feared staying into Zoar because they were originally marked for punishment with the rest of the circle. But because of Lot, they received a reprieve. Lot just did not know how long a reprieve they were granted, so he left as quickly as possible. And that says something about him. At what point did he begin to doubt Yahuwah? He was permitted to go there for safety. No time limit was put on his stay there. It was agreed that he could stay there, he and his 2 daughters and his woman. Was that where he faltered? His woman. Since she was punished for her disobedience, did that prompt Lot to allow some distrust in his heart? Was he upset with Yahuwah about her sudden transformation? Whatever the case, he now has exhibited some distrust toward Yahuwah by leaving the place where it was agreed, okay, allow him and his family to flee to. Verses 31 and 32. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. Now, usually we would say, this in regards to a man. I'm saying in regards to these 2 daughters of Lot. They're creepy. All right. Here's a bit of irony that goes back to Kua. A young woman convinces another into transgression because her eyes are open and lust fills her heart. Kua's eyes were open before Adam's, since she ate of the forbidden tree first. With her eyes open, and who knows what has consumed her, she convinced Adam to eat too. Then, like the serpent, she presents a compelling version of the story as leverage to get her sister to see things her way, because there is no other way. After all, they both just witnessed what likely seemed like the destruction of the whole world. That kind of traumatic experience could make one forget most anything except that event. That said, just because the story is compelling does not make it the actual situation. Verses 33 through 35. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Again, I'm gonna say creepy, because this is something else. You have 2 daughters, essentially date raping their father. All right, Lot had to have alcohol poisoning after drinking so much wine that he had no idea he was being assaulted, or I guess maybe it was a combination of his old age and all the liquor dulling his senses. Either way, that was a lot. I guess since I cannot relate to having drank so much, I can't understand being unaware of my body being used without my knowledge. Still, it seems unbelievable that a sex act could take place twice and he not know about it. That must have been some really strong wine and plenty of it. Nonetheless, the oldest assaulted him first. She told her younger sister, "See, I did it. You can do it too. Now get to it." Now, if I were like most normal people in the world, and I stress that word normal because it don't really make sense when applying it to people or situations, there's really no normality at all. All right. If I were like most normal people in the world, I would read this and think, this is cool. What is cool, you ask? Lest you forgot, at the point of Lot's negotiation with the townfolk, his brethren, he described his daughters to make them more appealing to the prospective rapists. Considering what they just did to their father, I have to wonder, were they actually virgins? If so, how did they know what to do with their father and how to go about the act? Now for the cool part, this is the first recorded rape in history. Not only is it the first recorded rape, but it is also the first recorded rape perpetrated by women. And if that is not enough, it is the first recorded rape by women against their own father. Incestuous, you say? Incest was still very much a way of life then. So, had Lot consented, this really would have been no big deal, probably. After all, they were his daughters, so probably no big deal. All of Adam and Cush's children had relations with each other as man and woman. Mankind was populated out of what we call incest. It is messed up that out of rape, he will be a father, a grandfather, and uncle all at the same time. It just sounded funny to throw uncle in there. He will be an uncle. Now, I say this is the first recorded rape. Actually, it's the second and the third. Lest we forget, Abraham and his wife Sarah's handmaid, Hagar, that too was a case of rape. And lest I rape your ears any longer, we're going to end this episode and we're going to pick it up with verses 36 through 38, which reads accordingly. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father, and the firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. The same is the father of Moabim unto this day. And the younger, she also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So we're not going to pick it up there. We're going to pick it up in chapter 20. Hope you enjoyed that little joke. Till then, this is your servant of Yahuwah, Sayah, and I will see you again next time. Until then, enjoy this good day.